There can be only one podcast, and maybe the Prince of the Universe. Hi, folks. I'm Matt.
And I'm Wes.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Welcome.
This new gorgeous home.
Thank you. Thank you. First time in the home.
You can't hide money.
It's all in the house. It's all in the house now. So.
What brings us here?
What brings us here? Brings us here is the Spider-Man. Is it Far From Home? No Way Home? No Way Home. They shouldn't have named it so similar to the last movie.
Well, I guess that we're already starting just to critique this thing negatively.
And that's our review. There you go. So a few people, I've been building this up. A few people have been asking what I thought. And I was going to give my thoughts on it. I've been kind of mum on it because I want to do that for the podcast. You saw it as well?
Yes.
And so do you want to I say we just give an overall what we thought and then break it down. By the way, there's going to be spoilers all through this, okay?
Yes.
First off, go ahead.
No, I agree with your idea.
Okay. First off, overall, it's an excellent movie. Best one I saw, and best one I've seen all year long for 2021. And I will say this, probably the best Spider-Man movie, period.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It was so much more than I thought it would be.
It was. It's the real way to make all fans happy, I think. They try to stir up and bring back people, and it's just like, here, remember so-and-so? And that's basically it. But this one, it doesn't matter which Spider-Man fan you were. I think everyone got a fair share.
Which is hard to do with that many people.
To balance three stars, anchors, and to give them all their time without distracting from the story.
And a lot of it is when you put like all those characters, you want to think how much does everybody get their shine moment.
Yeah.
And to me, so much of it is they did more with less by not making it 3.5 hours or to make sure everybody got a little bit more time. That
was the other thing. It was not in game.
Correct.
In game, where you took 6 hours, we're talking part 1 and part 2, and you accomplished little to nothing. That movie could have been done in 2.
Yeah, I agree with that part of it.
Okay, because in-game part 2 was like 3.5 hours or something. What was it? 2.5? What?
It was too much.
It took us 3 nights. Megan and I were so tired. It's like,
I thought it was the Snyder cut.
Yeah. Good gravy.
Cut even got here.
Good gravy. And so you make these long things, and it drags, and you don't have to. This one was not 3.5. But the thing was, it didn't feel like it dragged at all.
Good pacing.
Great pacing.
Mm-hmm.
Great pacing. Man, Dr. Octavius, who's the actor? I can't think of his name right now. Great. Man, that dude just slipped back in like he had just finished rapping on Spider-Man 2.
William Dafoe was killer.
He showed why no one else should ever pick up the Green Goblin.
Wow.
I mean, he's really good. Really good.
So good.
Yes. No, it really was.
I love putting the hood on at the end and not having the mask on.
Well, they knew the mask was so awful. I hated the mask, too.
I agree.
And every fan did.
But William Dafoe, he plays crazy pretty damn well.
He plays crazy great. But here's the other thing with William Dafoe. You feel sorry for him when he's Norman Osborn. You really feel for him. And then suddenly he changes and you're like, kill him. Yeah. I mean, he can... And it's really hard because it's all in the face and then in the demeanor.
He's got face and he's got eyes.
Yeah. And it's the same actor, but you can feel sorry for him.
He's good.
It's really great. In my opinion, the Andrew Garfield Amazing Spider-Man were the weakest movies of all the Spider-Man series. But I will also say this.
He stole the movie.
He was excellent, and he's my favorite Spider-Man.
Wow.
Even though I hated the movies.
He stole the show.
He did, didn't he?
Man, he did so much with little.
Yeah.
So good.
And this is the one, because when they announced, when the rumor mill was going, they're going to get Tobey Maguire back, like, really? Because he said nothing. He said no. Without Sam Raimi, I'm done.
Right.
He was firm on that. And then I said, well, they're not going to get Andrew Garfield because they kind of screwed him out of the third movie. And he's still pissed over that, probably. And they got them both. What a good guy. And the thing is, his moment was probably one of the best. When he saves Mary Jane where he couldn't save Gwen Stacy
Yeah.
in the exact same fashion.
Stole it.
And what a scene where he's holding her. This is
If
one
I was
of
a woman, I would have fallen in love with him right then. Which I guess I'm not too far away from that.
I'm telling you, when he saves her and he's choking back tears.
Oh.
And the thing is, here's the thing. If you're just watching Tom Holland, you don't understand a thing of that scene. But fans who really loved Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, that was your moment. And you loved it.
Well, I don't even think it's so much just if that was your Spider-Man. I think it showed. I mean, it showed some depth to things without going way overboard.
Yes.
It just let the actors act.
Yes.
They owned the role, and then we went to a new scene.
Mm-hmm. No, it was great. It was great because, like I said, at that point they balanced out all three stars very evenly. No one took the lead. Tom Holland took a back seat and shared the driver's wheel with everyone else. I love the Dr. Octavius Peter Parker moment.
Yeah.
Where he goes, "Hello, boy." From the very beginning, it almost felt like, this is so cheesy, but the movie Hook, with Robin Williams. And some of the Tinkerbell Robin Hood reunion thing where when she reconnect. No, he's reconnecting with Wendy and saying the old lines from the old movie. Well,
I can't place all that.
Okay, that's fine. But Dr. Octavius and Peter Parker kind of replayed something that they said in their movie together,
Right.
and now he's older, wiser. This is the thing that Dr. Octavius told Peter Parker at the beginning, and I thought, that's wonderful. I did not see that coming. Even when I knew Doc Ock was in it, I did not see that moment. Instantly, when they said it, I was like, because he never got to say.
They tied up so much stuff so well.
Incredibly well.
I don't know how many cooks they had in the kitchen.
But whoever they did, keep that person.
Yeah, whatever that staff was, that's
who you get to write the rest of your movies. Because that was incredible to me.
Yeah.
It was really, and then seeing each one of them come, into their own dimensions over there was there's lots of good humor. I told my brother, and I was halfway kidding, but to be honest, if they wanted to make a movie where the three Spider-Mans meet for lunch one day and just talk, I think I would, because that moment where they're all kind of sharing their stories, it's funny. And I was thinking, this is not boring me. I could listen to this all day. Because,
it sounds like three guys on break at work.
That's exactly just around the water cooler, Yeah. What, you both caught aliens? Oh, I fought a Russian in a mechanical riot. And they're making fun of the movies, their own movies.
Right.
Is great too, because, what was the scene? I can't remember Electro. What's the actor's name? Anyway, he goes, "Damn, man, gotta watch where you fall." That got me laughing because Sandman's talking about what he fell into. Mm-hmm. He fell into the electric vat of electric eels.
Well, you're talking about Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx. Couldn't remember his name.
Well, I thought it was a pretty good kick up about somewhere there's got to be a black Spider-Man considering what's going on in comics now. So they did so much aha.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Winking at the crowd.
Inside humor.
And then continuing stories from, Sandman, he just wants to go home back to his little girl. Gives him, I don't know. There's just so much. The plot surprised me. I thought we were just going to get some fan service. Here's Andrew. At the very end, Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire come out and go, "Let's do this." And then they whoop up on the bad guys. And they go, "Bye. You're a great Spider-Man. Remember that, Tom Holland." And then they go off, into the warp zones. I thought that's what it was going to be.
No, it was not that.
And it was not that. I'm happy.
Yeah, for sure.
What did you expect going in? Because is it safe to say this movie surprised us?
Yeah. Well, I think it exceeded expectations. I was more moved on how well they tied, for people that in 2001 saw, Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
And how that was so groundbreaking for us to see that 20 years ago.
Yes.
To see that come full circle and it not feel forced. Like nothing felt forced.
Right.
It had the right flow, the right pacing. You're excited when they brought certain people back. I I was more surprised at the depth of the emotional impact they subtly eased you into. It was so Disney where they just gaslight the shit out of your emotions.
Yeah.
And then before too long, you look up and you go, I'm an emotional wreck.
What was one of the best scenes for you?
Ooh, the gravesite scene was the best.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah,
Oh, wow. Wow.
for sure.
That was really good.
Yeah.
Where no one remembers him
Oh yeah.
at the end. What a good one. What
Yeah,
a good
well, I mean,
scene.
it's if you're a fan of Spider-Man, that was, or I guess superhero books to a certain degree. It's a service they're providing, and they're being a hero, but so much of that comes with the price of they really can't tell anybody because it shows if everybody knows who you are and exposes it, you can't even do what you used to do because
Exactly.
it's over. The gimmick is over.
Yeah.
So to see that go full circle, so good.
Yeah. And
It's a lesson in life that we can all take where just because something's great that you have, you don't have to tell everybody about it. That makes it special.
And
This is coming from someone we're talking on a podcast, so I don't know.
let me answer this. There's also things like, oh, okay, here's a superhero we're throwing in there just to give you something to do. And oh no, wait, Captain America 2 and 3, not about Captain America, just about everyone else but Captain America. Captain America just happened to be on the title of the movie. Those movies got lost with all the other extra stars they brought into it. Spider-Man Tom Holland still feels like the star, even though you've got arguably not just those two, but you've got Doctor Strange in it too.
Yeah.
None of them took away from the whole time. I knew I was watching a Spider-Man movie. Where if you go back and you watch Captain America 2, it's an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. movie. It's not Captain America. You go back and watch Captain America 3, it's just Avengers 1.5.
Yeah, it's foreplay for the Avengers.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah.
But then you watch
long foreplay, which I know is good at times. Or so I've heard.
Okay. All right. So, but this one did not feel distracted by all these guest stars at all. It still felt true to the original character. Tom Holland was still there, but but it didn't get lost like the other Captain America movies have. I mean,
I think what it did, if you walk out of that, you go, I'm interested in seeing Andrew Garfield be Spider-Man again.
Yeah.
I'm interested if Tobey Maguire wants to be Spider-Man again. I'm interested in anybody who was part of this movie because they came out of it better than they went into it.
Yeah. No, it wasn't just hi, I'm Tobey Maguire. I was in a Spider-Man movie. Bye.
Right.
It wasn't that.
It wasn't like he was working a table at the Comic-Con.
Yeah, exactly. Which is what a lot of these guest stars are like.
Correct. Let's just get them through the line. Catapult it.
Wait till the Flash comes out. I guarantee it's going to be, hi, remember me? And then bye.
That was another takeaway, not to jump the shark. When I came out of that, I thought, man, DC is late to the party with Michael Keaton because Marvel just did all of that. As excited as I am about Michael Keaton being Batman.
Yeah, everyone is.
Gosh, when you say that again, you're going to go, they got a lot to live up to again.
Yeah, again, Marvel beat them to the punch.
Correct.
Marvel beat them to the punch and probably did it better.
It's going to be hard to beat it.
It's going to be hard to beat because I don't think, I sincerely doubt Flash will give us that. I've said this before, I love DC more than Marvel, but they're not cutting it in the cinematic universe realm. But anyway, going back to Spider-Man, it could go anywhere. That's the other thing. Sony has the rights, and they want to churn out some money. And now that they've made this, I don't know, because I don't know what the rumor mill is, but I could see Tobey Maguire, Sam Raimi coming back, Kristen Dunst come back, do a Spider-Man 4, and just call it Spider-Man 4. With the rest of them, and so that way we'll know it's a Tobey Maguire engine because those had the numbers on it, and say, okay, well now he is. Everyone's talked about this. He could train Miles Morales. He's training the new Spider-Man, so everyone gets their happy new person, the kid.
Well, yeah, I think that it opens up possibilities, but I think it doesn't open up the possibilities of four walls. Like they can go a lot of different
Yes.
directions as long as one person is in charge. Because I don't know how many people, like I said, I don't know how many people are in charge, but to integrate that much talent and it flow seamlessly, because it's hard to put a lot of A-list. So
Together and have them
somebody's got to
balance.
take the shine and somebody's
Yep.
got to back off.
Yep.
Somebody's got to lose, somebody's got to win. But everybody kind of came out of that where
Work together.
yeah, it just worked
Mm-hmm.
so well. So I don't know where they could go with it. But I'm excited to see what they can do. I'm anxious to see, rather than walking out of Justice League Snyder Cut and going, that was better than what we got the first time, but man, that was just too much.
I don't even know if I can say that. I was just like, please end. Please end is all I could think about. It was just.
Yeah. And that's what I mean by putting a talent.
Yeah.
Like,
that was a mess. Even the Snyder Cut was a mess. Oh, look, we straightened out the mess. It's still a mess. It's still a mess.
yeah, it was like Christmas for a year. Like after, if you have Christmas morning on April 1st, you're kind of like, I'm tired of opening presents. Can we just get back to normal? And I think that's how Justice League is. And I know we're talking about Spider-Man, but the differences between how the creative people that are facilitating this are on two different playing fields.
Oh, absolutely. I would love to see if they did Amazing Spider-Man 3. I'd love to see Andrew Garfield, because they built it up where he hasn't found his Mary Jane yet. Well, maybe in Amazing Spider-Man 3 he does find his Mary Jane.
Oh yeah, I mean they could do Marvel team up.
I mean, honestly, they could, and so he gets his little happy ending, and then for Tom Holland's Spider-Man, Did you notice they did the old cartoon Spider-Man?
The Point?
No, the costume. He had the just red spider on his back, just red from the old cartoon.
I don't remember that.
He wasn't fancy. It was at the end when he sewed his own costume.
Oh yeah.
It was more as of a cartoon,
very basic,
very comic booky. The old red, just the plain red, nothing special. Right. And I was like, I really like that.
I almost thought that was an ode to the TV show too, at a certain degree.
Maybe so. The '90s. Did the '90s TV show look like that?
Well, no, not the.
Oh, okay.
Like the '70s live action.
Well,
it was just so.
Yeah.
Real, like Halloween costume.
Well, that's what he basically has at the end.
Correct, but it was good enough where it didn't look silly. It was just like, which I guess shows the depth of the Spider-Man universe, character, whatever you want to say, to put that much into it with so many different people and it all worked. Because I don't know if you can put Michael Keaton, Christian Bale together and get Ben Affleck, get all of these different Batman, and it flow that way.
Exactly. Speaking of Michael Keaton, that's what I was going with Tom Holland. Vulture is obviously, they're getting a story with him where he's getting the Sinister Six, or his own Sinister Six together.
To me, was almost like the Sinister Six.
In a way. They pulled a lot of the famous ones. But it looks like this is all speculation, but Scorpion, Shocker, probably Kraven with Vulture, Morpheus in the movie, Keaton's. That's probably his only scene. But right. maybe they get another character that they haven't taken yet, some kind of C-lister.
Sure.
Because honestly, I really like. I think Vulture still from Tom Holland's trilogy is the best.
Yeah,
so good. And maybe one of the best villains I've seen. Because
Michael Keaton, I think that's part of it. It's like he's like William Dafoe. He's like,
but it's the Vulture, the dumbest character, and he made him great.
Right.
It was great.
It was a fresh coat of paint on that character.
It really was. And so I'd like to see where he comes back and takes on Tom Holland. I mean, you've got 3 different stories to do with 3 different Spider-Men that I think everyone would be interested in seeing.
I think it re-engaged, for me, it re-engaged me to those other movies. And it makes me want to go revisit all of that again, because they did it so well 10 to 20 years later to a certain degree.
Yeah.
A lot of people were saying, They still don't think it's the best comic book movie, and I'm not trying to say what is the best comic book movie because it's
It was a
such
good
a
one.
wide, but it was a damn good one.
Because it
was way better than a lot of them. Man.
Yeah, when you look at all the Spider-Man, starting with Tobey Maguire and on, this was the perfect ending for all three. In a way, they kind of all got a little bit of a
That's what I mean. They
swan song,
they called their shot.
Yeah, and it was great. I mean, everyone got their moment, and like we said earlier, it's just awesome. So, I mean, it was kind of funny because I'd seen Carnage, and I knew that he had gotten into the world, and I kept waiting for him. And I was like, "Where is he?" And he's just a scene at the end where, of course, they're leaving Venom there
Right.
too. So Venom may be the Sinister Six. I don't know, who knows, but it was fun that everyone got their little time. But I really hope because Sony, all they're holding on is the Spider-Man universe. That's all they got. Marvel is this big, huge, beast of a machine rolling out there.
Yeah, it is. It's a beast of a machine that's doing really well, but I think it really shows the value of Spider-Man, this movie.
Yes.
Because it's like hanging in there 4 weeks going.
Yeah. Oh, it's busting through the whole myth because every time a movie bombs right now, we say, well, COVID.
Right.
COVID, people won't go see it. Really, because that didn't happen with Spider-Man.
If you give somebody something really good that makes an impression where they're not just going, well, I got out of the house for 3 hours, so I don't have to listen to my kids or my wife or whatever. or whatever. It's, you walk out of that and you go, damn, that was really good.
Yeah.
Like, I'm moved.
Yeah, no, it was. I remember coming out of the theater and turning to Megan and said, I had no idea I was going to love that movie that much.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I said, I'm shocked. I mean, I knew that they were coming back. I knew everyone was coming back. And I was like, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to see that. But I was like, oh, wow, someone thought about this.
Yeah, I think for so much of our generation, we've seen so much, we almost kind of sit back and not to be comic book men or something where you're working at a record store where you're like, well, back in my day.
Right.
What we saw there was such a level of like integrity put into it versus just CGI or let's just get through it kind of stuff.
Yes.
It doesn't matter if it looks fake. People are going to eat it up. And it never felt that way.
A wise use of CGI and great moments of them, like them talking on the scaffolding. We've already talked about this. That was great. That was great. We're about to get to the big scene, but we don't need money. And that scene cost them nothing.
Well,
but them sitting around.
It's to get you up and to get you down. And everything does not need to be up.
It doesn't have to be a CG vomit everywhere, like in game. The big fight. I'm getting tired.
It's a way to do a marathon and pace it out as opposed to just keep going. Where you become,
the Snyder cut. Just pour money into it. Well,
that was a lot of downtime too. But
that was boring too.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like it's just too much. It's too much for me to take in. Like this, the pacing. I guess
everything was great.
The takeaway for me, the pacing of it was perfect.
This set the bar for how future crossovers and nostalgia bait should be done properly. It set the bar for movies, movie-wise.
Yeah, I agree. When you're going to take an intellectual property and be that creative
and true to the original content too.
And
I mean,
not overbook it.
No,
it was so well paced and just like, I mean, Aunt May dying was really sad, really well done. So, like, everybody, which, God bless Marissa Tomei, holy cow, is she a vampire? Jeez,
I know.
Morbius.
I know.
Shit.
I know.
Anyway, all of the scenes where they wanted to, like, kind of gut punch you with emotion.
They did.
They KO'd.
We'll talk about May's scene for a little bit here because she gets up and starts walking. I was like, oh, I thought they killed her. Okay. Well, that was different. And then, of course, she falls because she was just trying to be tough for Peter.
She's selling. It's like the professional wrestling term of It's like the Terminator slowly
I know,
crawling.
but she had gotten up, and it felt like it was after they survive a big blast, it's like, okay, let's hobble away, and then I'll wear a bandage on my head and be fine for the rest of the movie.
Right.
It felt like it was going in that direction. Because if they don't, because that was a big scene where he throws the pumpkin bomb and it blows. You're like, oh no.
Right.
But then you're like, oh, okay, she's gonna walk away, and then I was like, oh, they got me there.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. Like the psychology of, there's parts of it where you think something's going to happen. If that happens too much, you don't want to believe at that point. But it was so well done.
It was well done. It was well.
When
and
she, like you said, when she fell back, you're like, oh,
it's brutal seeing Tom Holland scene. He is an incredible actor.
Tom Holland is.
That was incredible. That was an incredible moment.
Yeah.
Just that it's not sadness, it's despair. It's total despair. And you're just like, oh.
Which I'm sure you feel that way with twins and having twins on the way. I guess that's why you had the feeling of despair.
That's the face I'll have when we get home and everyone's crying.
No Way Home.
No Way Out.
Oh,
so it's going to be called. Too. But yeah, so that was to me another good scene. Any other good scenes we're forgetting? I mean, everyone had their little moment. I forgot his name. The director, Iron Man's friend. He's
Jon Favreau.
Jon Favreau. Thank you. Jon Favreau has his moments. Not overused. He's there.
Iron Man's friend.
I don't know. I don't know. Happy. That was what it was. Sorry.
This is the guy's rejuvenated Star Wars to a certain degree. Yeah, Happy was really. That's what I'm saying. Like
just enough, not
Jon
too
Favreau
much.
Shows he has a lot of care.
Yes.
Like he's like a dad to this stuff. He's like, not too much.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you fall, but I'll be here to pick you back up. He's that way with...
The fun moment, I can hear every word you said. I'm trying to get to sleep. That's funny. That's funny. It's like, you know what? That's great. And then we don't get to see him for a while, and I'm fine with that. We see him when he pulls up when Aunt May dies, okay? And then we go, oh, go ahead.
No, what? That's the point. You don't see him. Like, that's the key to this movie. It's not overbooked.
No.
Nobody gets too much time.
No. No one is overused. Everyone is perfectly planted, and it's not like they're sitting on the shelf with nothing to do. It's like, no, it's not your time. It's this time now. It's perfect how they give everyone their time, their moment, and it feels like it was. I mean, obviously it was plotted out, but I mean, we're talking like, when they do a plot and they have to get rid of Alfred for the rest of the movie, so they have him go do something for the rest of the movie, and then he's gone.
Sure.
Or whoever, name someone, and here they did this, so now they're gone, and now we get to do this for a while.
And it's obvious writing somebody out of the script.
And you can tell that they wrote someone out of the script because they didn't know what to have them do. And this one, no one feels like they're written out of the script. Everyone has their moment,
right? And
everyone moves in a. I keep turning my hand in like a circle, but it's just everyone gets their moment. Everyone gets their moment. It doesn't, like you said, nothing drag. There's not a single point. I was like, all right, come on, hurry, come on. No, it's just great.
Such a love letter to this movie.
It's great. Even Doctor Strange gets his time in the beginning and then gone, and it's great.
Yeah,
it's great. He did not overstay his welcome.
Sure.
He set things up, and he was in it for the first, hour, maybe 45 minutes or something. I mean, but he didn't dominate it, and maybe that's why it felt like it's still a Spider-Man story.
Maybe that's why I think it may work the way Iron Man worked with it with Tom Holland is if you grew up reading Marvel team-ups, Spider-Man always teamed up with somebody, but I don't know what it is, but that works so well with both of those.
Yeah.
Both of those characters where nothing ever got too much for the other.
No, it didn't. It really went well. Really went well. Did you see the Eternals?
No.
Good. I didn't either.
Well, see, I think, not to jump the shark.
There you go.
I just think that there's a point where we're so fortunate if you've grown up loving comics, especially someone
that's true.
If you're born, Marvel kicked off in 1962. I was born in 1977, so we grew up with so much of that stuff. We're so fortunate to see where it started to where it is, and how the evolution of these movies, but there's a point where maybe we have to pull it back just a little bit because not everybody needs a movie because it wears you out. It's that Christmas everyday mentality.
Right.
So
yeah, there you go. But see, here's the thing. I could go without watching another Marvel movie. I think I could. I don't have to watch everything, but I would sit down to watch another Spider-Man. I would want to watch a Spider-Man. Not that I'm resisting Marvel. I'm not resist. I'm just saying I could go without Marvel right now.
right.
But
No, I get that.
But but Spider-Man, I would genuinely be excited about now and be interested to see it more than any Marvel movie.
Yeah, I think that's to me that's the takeaway of this is like everyone has talked about for the past, I don't know, 10 plus years, the MCU, MCU,
Yes.
MCU,
Yeah,
MCU.
MCU.
That's just you don't even say Marvel, you
Yeah.
say MCU now. The takeaway now is kind of like, oh, I know X-Men is such a huge property and that side, but man, Spider-Man really shows who it's Spider-Man and it's like neck and neck for MCU. You put all of that against it.
With MCU, they kind of pulled the plug and the Avengers are gone, so they're just kind of drifting out there to see what else will catch. Any of their second tiers from the Avengers storyline, Doctor Strange, stuff like that, will they catch fire again? Will they relift it? Spider-Man seems to still be chugging along at A+ status.
Well, I don't know if it's. I almost think they did so well with this movie. Like I said, they invested in older characters where they can dust them off again, and people will be genuinely like, "Oh, awesome!" Kind of like how we feel about Michael Keaton being Batman again. It's like we've waited so long. We're interested because we've also seen Michael Keaton be good at so much other stuff.
Right. And that's the thing. It's connecting with the father and the son.
Yeah.
With the moviegoers. You were.
I thought you were getting biblical there.
Oh no. Well, yeah. Well, no.
Yeah.
But 2001, 2021, 20 years have passed. A lot of people have kids that go see. I mean, Josh, who was on the podcast, he has kids that go see this. So it's perfect for him
Josh,
and perfect for his kids.
That dude is such a good dad, and I don't know him, but that podcast.
Yeah.
And I think you're a little too hard on Shang-Chi and Black Widow. I don't think they were that bad.
Oh, Black Widow's horrendous.
I don't know about that. Anyway, I can remember talking to Ralph, our old buddy who ran our comic shop from the late 90s. I remember talking to him on the phone after we were talking about the Spider-Man movie in 2001, seeing it, and him saying, hey, the girl he was married to or seeing at that time was pregnant with his first kid. So, like, talking about dads, and I'll link it back to 20 years later, here's the shocker, Ralph just had another kid. So there's a thing, like, where you watch that movie, and Star Wars tried to do this, and it just got way off the tracks, but it felt like, this is good. It's like a good class reunion where everybody's healthy and they feel good. They're happy to see each other, rather than they're just all beat and
worn out. Yes,
and they're
deconstructed to where they're miserable again. Exactly.
It's just this real like.
Ugh. This is depressing again.
You're like, hey man,
what was the point of the original trilogy?
Right.
If no one lived happily ever after.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone is still on a high. Everyone's been lifted up. I mean, it's obviously that Andrew Garfield suffered the biggest loss, but they gave him some confidence in this one.
Oh yeah, made you, like I said, he just came off so well, and Tom Holland losing May and like restarting his life, and it's like so well done.
It is, without having to have everyone start at zero again and build it back up.
Right.
Tobey Maguire, but I'm not happy now. I lost Mary Jane. I don't lost my job at the Bugle or whatever,
Yeah.
Oh, so happy you didn't do that because we've seen it a billion times, and guess what? We're tired of it. It's not happy.
I agree. You don't want to. You don't want to force that reality.
It's a lack of creative storytelling. We don't have anywhere to go with this guy. We can't keep him happy. Like the comic books, they had to break up Mary Jane and Peter Parker. They felt like, well, got nothing else to do. Don't put him back to zero.
I think when you have nothing else to do, maybe it's time to just
get a new writer in the book. In the book, that's right. End it.
If you can't come up with anything, put it on the shelf.
Yeah. Let it be.
Somebody can come up with something.
Yeah.
Because you're going to lose there's a point where we all put down comics and say, I'm not reading new stuff anymore because, like you said, it's just
The same thing regurgitated.
It makes total sense. That's why there needs to be a new Spider-Man. There needs to be a new this because everything is told. Anyway, that's another podcast.
There you go. All right. Good deal. So is it safe to say you liked it?
2 web slingers up.
Oh, whoa. That's nice. Where do your web slingers come from, by the way?
Genetically modified.
Oh, okay. So you have those.
Yeah, like my personality.
All right, folks. There you go. If you haven't seen Spider-Man, I don't know what you're thinking. But anyway, we'll see you next time on Princes of the Universe.